In the earliest days of human existence, survival was a constant challenge. The world was filled with predators, harsh weather, and unpredictable dangers. To endure, early humans needed more than food and tools, they needed protection. This is where the story of the first shelters begins. At first, shelters were simple and improvised. Early humans often sought refuge in caves, which provided natural protection from rain, wind, and wild animals. Imagine a family huddled deep inside a cavern, a fire flickering at the entrance, shadows dancing on the stone walls. The cave was more than just a hiding place, it was security, a shield against a dangerous world. But caves were not always available. As humans migrated, they had to adapt to different landscapes. In forests and open plains, natural shelters like dense trees, rock overhangs, and thickets offered temporary safety. Yet these were only short-term solutions. Early humans soon realized they could create protection with their own hands. The first man-made shelters were likely very simple. Branches were leaned against one another to form huts, covered with leaves and grass to keep out the rain. Animal hides stretched across wooden frames created tents that could be moved when groups followed herds or searched for new water sources. These primitive constructions were the seeds of human architecture. Shelters were more than physical structures, they became places of community. Around these early dwellings, families gathered to share food, teach skills, and pass down stories. The shelter was not just a shield. It was a home, the first space that gave meaning to belonging. Over time, shelters grew in complexity. In colder climates, humans dug pits in the ground and covered them with branches and hides, insulating themselves against the freezing winds. In warmer regions, raised huts protected people from flooding and insects. Each adaptation reflected not just necessity, but creativity. Archaeological evidence shows that some of the earliest known huts, dating back hundreds of thousands of years, were circular in shape. This design allowed stability against winds and maximized the use of materials. Circular shelters also created a natural gathering point in the center, reinforcing community bonds. Shelters also influenced social organization. With a fixed place to rest, humans could plan hunts more effectively, raise children more securely, and form stronger groups. Shelter marked the shift from wandering survival to structured living. These early homes also symbolized humanity's growing mastery over nature. Instead of accepting the environment as it was, humans began to reshape it. A shelter was not just protection. It was a declaration. We belong here. Imagine the moment when a group of humans finished building a hut for the first time. As the walls rose and the roof was secured, there must have been a sense of pride, a recognition that they had taken control of their survival. That moment was more than survival, it was the beginning of civilization. The materials used for shelters varied widely. In grasslands, tall reeds were woven into walls. In forests, heavy logs provided strength and durability. In arid areas, stones were stacked to form walls, some of which still survive today. Each landscape inspired its own solutions, showing the remarkable adaptability of humans. Animal hides played an important role, especially for mobile shelters. Stretched tightly across wooden frames, they provided insulation and portability. These hide tents allowed groups to move across vast distances while still carrying the comfort of home. Fire also shaped the meaning of shelters. Within these spaces, fire provided warmth, light, and protection. The hearth became the heart of the shelter, a place where stories were told, tools were crafted, and bonds were strengthened. The combination of shelter and fire created the first true sense of domestic life. Some shelters even reveal early signs of planning and construction skills. Post holes found at archaeological sites suggest that early humans deliberately arranged supports in the ground to create sturdy frames. This shows that shelters were not random piles of material, but carefully designed structures. With shelter came permanence. People could store food, tools, and resources, reducing the need for constant movement. This laid the groundwork for later villages, where shelters grouped together formed communities larger than a single family. But shelters were not only practical, they carried symbolic meaning. The act of building a home separated humans from other animals. It was a statement of identity, a recognition that humans were more than wanderers. They were makers, shapers of their own world. When we look at the ruins of ancient shelters today, whether stone circles or traces of wooden posts, we are looking at the roots of architecture. From skyscrapers to modern houses, every building in our world traces its lineage back to those first huts of branches, hides, and stone. The story of the first shelters is the story of humans claiming a place in the world. It is about safety, community, and creativity. It is a reminder that our deepest need has always been not just to survive, but to belong. And so, the first shelters were more than walls and roofs. They were the birth of home, the place where life could be lived, where dreams could begin, and where humanity itself took its first steps toward civilization. If you enjoyed this journey into humanity's earliest homes, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support keeps history alive.